Hi, my name is Rod Cleef, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Multifamily Rock Stars. And as you guys know, this is where we interview people that are crushing it in this business. And we show you really the inside workings of how, incredible multifamily investors are creating massive success in their businesses and in their lives. And, as always, I've got my co-host, who's the director of my massive action team for our Warrior Mentorship Program, Mark Nagy, on the call. Mark, what's up, brother?
I'm excited for today's. I was just looking at my calendar before this call here, and I know this will come out a little bit later, but the guest and I here met just exactly 1 year ago, from maybe a few days ago. And so it's exciting to see a familiar face so soon on the podcast here.
Yeah. And when you hear what she's accomplished in the last year, it's pretty extraordinary. And I will tell you, I'm very excited about this particular interview because not only is she a wonderful human being, but, she's a single mom. And she's got so much stuff going on. She's closed on 112 doors. I think she's got another 600 doors under development to come out of the ground. She's got 70 under contract. She's doing an assisted living facility. I mean, it just goes on. And again, my mom was effectively a single mom, and I am just have an affinity for anybody that is in that situation. And then achieves the level of success that today's guest has already achieved. Her name is Elsa Nguyen, and like I said, we are very excited to have you on the show today, Elsa.
Thank you so much, Rod. Thank you, Mark. Really, it's such an honor to be on the show today. It really is. Thank you so much for that.
Well, I can tell you it's an absolute treat for me, and very excited to get into your story. So why don't you take a minute and talk about your background, and make sure you talk about how you came into this country as well, please.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much. So I immigrated to this country in 1991, and, I came with my family to a government-sponsored program, and I was 13 at the time. Came from a place of poverty. So where I grew up, it was, I grew up with no utilities. It's a village out of nowhere. So as you could imagine, when I stepped on the ground of this country, everything was just amazing. Like,
you came from Vietnam, yes?
I came from Vietnam, right? Yeah. So that was back in 1991. And fast forward, I always have a love for real estate, but never really dive into that until the last 5 years or so. And that's kind of just, it's the beginning of really this career started with this program, to be honest with you.
No,
even though I did some minor stuff prior to that.
No, I know, you got licensed as a real estate agent, and you did some other things, but boy, you have just gone crazy in the last year. And it's just been such a treat to be a fly on the wall for that. So, I know you didn't speak English, like I didn't speak English when I immigrated, and I'm sure you got thrown into school and you had to deal with all that awkwardness and, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And of course, talk about a culture shock, right?
Exactly.
To go from a village in Vietnam to the United States. And so, talk a little bit more, expand a little bit more on all the stuff you've got going on, because I didn't really do it justice. So talk about what you've accomplished in the multifamily space and what you've got going on. Just elaborate on that for us a little bit, please.
Thank you so much. So prior to joining the Warrior program, I had 0 apartment. I had a few single family. I sold them all, but I wanted to get into multifamily because during the pandemic, I did my research, and this is the one asset class that everybody was talking about. Right. And I figured that I need a good mentor in order for me to be successful in this business. So that's when I decided to join the program back in, I believe, March of 2021.
Mhm.
And since then, I had acquired over 100 units as a GP.
Mhm.
And on top of that, I am expanding and working on pre-development for land. So I'm working with 2 different partners right now on 2 pretty major projects. One is in Florida for 250 townhomes, and then another one is in New Jersey for 397 high-rise condominiums.
Wow.
And recently, I also joined force with a partner that we purchased a building, currently an assisted living, and we are converting it to a drug rehab treatment center in North Carolina. We are going to, we're not the operators, we're the landlord. So I'm just going to stick to my landlord and not, not dilute myself too thin. So that is 120 beds of drug rehab treatment center in North Carolina. And currently I have about 70 plus door under contract that we're supposed to be closing within the next few weeks.
Okay.
Wow.
So I have to ask another question. Tell us about your children for a minute. Just shift gears for a minute. How old are your children and how many children do you have?
So I have 4 children, and one of them passed away at birth. So right now I have 3. My oldest just turned 15. And then I have a son that is 11 years old, and my youngest is 9.
Okay, 9, 11, and 15. So my question to you is, how are you able to do what you do, have this much stuff going on, and still be a mommy?
It's my schedule is 8 to 10 every day. To be honest with you, it's not easy. I work less when I was a real estate agent. But you know what? I love what I'm doing right now. And I'm starting to use my calendar a lot more intensively than before. So I have to pencil in everything, and I don't just go with the flow. So everything has to be on the calendar. And on the date when I have the kids, then I block out the time where I need to take them to school, the time that I need to pick them up. I block out dinner time just so that I can give my full attention to them. And then everything outside of that is just work. And it works, as long as we have a schedule in place, we can make anything work. Yeah,
just real quick. One of the things that I teach is time blocking. I teach a weekly planning process that includes blocking time for your family. And as you know, I place a lot of weight on the importance of balance in life and in your personal life. And when you're making dinner and having dinner with the children and one-on-one present with them, then that's what they need. So
it is very critical that we give them that full attention. And I'm still putting them to bed at night. So we do our Bible story time, and then we pray and I tuck them in. So that is my routine, and I don't change that. I don't just send them to bed, right? I put them in every night when I'm with them.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I know you've mentioned partners a couple times helping you in all this. In what ways do having team members and partners help you do all this and get to your goals faster versus if you were to try and do all this on your own?
Oh my God, that's a great question, Mark. Definitely, I would not be able to do this on my own. And so shortly after I joined the Warrior programs, in the first few months, I networked quite a bit. Kind of just try to find my tribe and who would have the same work ethics as me and so on and so forth. And then from there, I started just building up my team slowly. So I figured that my skill really is in the on the acquisition and contract negotiation, because I came from a real estate background. So that comes very easy for me, as well as just networking and talking. Capital raising, that's kind of where I know I landed. My weakness is asset management and operation, because I don't have any multifamily before. So I figured that in order for me to be successful in this business, I need a partner that is strong with asset management. So my main partner is Garrison because he is very strong with asset management and operation.
And he's a warrior as well. He's a great guy. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then from there, we just started to build up our other team members from deal finders to someone help us with underwriting, kind of just bounce. I'm pretty good with underwriting, but I would like somebody to back me up on that and just overlook the number to, cross our eye and our team, make sure that all the numbers are in the right place. And kind of just how we go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, what you did was really extraordinary, and the way you described it as well, because you are a hustler and you've got an incredible work ethic, and partnerships that I've had that haven't made it have been typically because in the same, I end up doing all the work and my partner doesn't, and it's frustrating. And so, there are partnerships, this business is a team sport and they require partnerships, and it's super important to align with the right people. And, we've got a resource that I give, and I'll have to find the code for it, but I'll give you guys a resource because it's really important when you do a partnership to ask all the right questions. And so, and because you get caught up in the emotion of it, and then, you end up doing business. And if you don't ask the hard questions up front, then it's very easy to overlook something important. So if you guys want a resource, text the word partnership to 72345, and it's a list of questions that you really need to ask before you get into a partnership so that you don't make a mistake. Because partnerships, like a marriage, are easy to get into and hard to get out of. And I can tell you in my multifamily boardroom mastermind, which is the largest mastermind of its type, there I can think of two people, a male and a female, that dissolved huge partnerships because they didn't ask the hard questions up front. And it's just painful, and you don't have to go through it if you do the heavy lifting up front. So I wanted to mention that. But Mark, go ahead and you ask the next question if you would.
Yeah. Well, I know you mentioned superpowers there. For someone listening who doesn't know, right? Maybe they don't have a real estate background. They're brand new into the business. How do you think people listening to this right now can find their superpower? Like maybe what sort of questions should they ask themselves, or what should they look at, their skill sets? How do you think they could do that?
Great question, Mark. I would just say do a deep evaluation of your strengths and weaknesses. And there are tests out there that you can take to find out what your strengths are if you're not already know that. Mm-hmm. And from there, if you want to get into this real estate business, at least learn what entails in this business, right? There are acquisition, there's operation, there's capital raising, networking. Ask yourself what you are good at. And then from there, emphasize on your strength rather than try to improve your weaknesses is kind of what my theory. So if you know what your strengths are, emphasize on that. If you're a people person, perhaps you're good with networking, working on raising capital. If you are an introvert and just like to work with numbers, then focus on underwriting. So that's just kind of where I would probably start out. Just do a deep evaluation of yourself first.
Yeah. Let me expand on a couple of things you just said. They sounded very familiar, and I wanted to expand on them. So one is on the tests. You can do a Myers-Briggs, for example. Mm-hmm. Tony Robbins has a free test called a DISC profile, DISC, and it's very, very accurate. It's on. You can just Google that online and take it. And another thing that's great about it is if everyone takes it, for like that DISC profile, for example, and you read someone else's, you know how to best communicate with them, because people hear communication differently. Like for me, if you communicate with me, you need to get it out very, very quickly, because I can't wait on someone to belabor a particular point. And so it's things like that. And it's very, very helpful in communicating with partners. And I want to expand on something Elsa just said, which is, when you're working in what you're good at, you're going to enjoy it, number one. Number two, you're going to be passionate about it because you enjoy it. And if you're passionate about it, you can influence people. And so that is a real kind of an important natural progression in this business. And it starts, obviously it starts with competence. You know, if you enjoy it, you're likely going to be or become competent in it. Then that'll equate to your confidence in it. And then because you enjoy it, and then you'll be passionate and be able to influence people. Let me ask you, let's go negative for a minute. Have you had any failures? You know, I call them seminars, any setbacks, any nose bloodied instances so far? Like, let's say in the last year, since you've been a warrior, and you know, tell us what happened in the lesson that you got, or you know, maybe nothing dramatic, but I'm just curious if you've had any setbacks that you've had to deal with, or you know, scary moments.
I did had a couple scary moments, which happened not too long ago, and I had 2 deals under contract. Mm-hmm. I was working with one lender, and I had closed a few deals with the lender already, so I totally trusted them, and we were doing just fine until a couple of weeks before we're supposed to close. The lender just disappeared on me.
Oh, geez.
I text, I emailed, nothing happened, right? Wow. And I'm like, what's going on? So it was very hectic, very scary, because now we need to close. And we couldn't, so I had to go back and ask the seller for the extensions. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, we were able to. But instead of getting a conventional loan, you know, the extension gave us like a month. So now I need to get a bridge loan to be able to close on time. Yeah. Lesson I learned is maybe engage more than one lender if we can, just to have a backup option. Because you just don't know. So I wouldn't be working. I wouldn't just put all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's tough. I will tell you though, that's tough because you know, you're gonna upset one of them. I don't know that there actually is much of a solution for what you just described, because if you know, I would tell you get references, but if you'd already closed loans with this person, you know, then you already had a track record. So I'm not sure what you encountered is avoidable, honestly, other than you know having great relationships with other lenders that can move very quickly to get something done. But if you have two lenders going simultaneously, you're going to upset one of them, and you're going to get a bad reputation. So I would encourage you to be careful with that. But yeah, your situation is unique and very difficult, honestly, to prevent and proactively deal with, other than having a lot of potential investors that can throw cash in, and again having another potential to lean back on quickly, that can move quickly, that you've already developed a relationship with in that regard. But wow, okay.
Well, my takeaway real quick on that is that, whether it's avoidable or not, have that mindset. I know we talk about mindset so much. Mm-hmm. Have the mindset going into your first deal, second deal, whatever. Things could go wrong. Things are going to go wrong. And so when they do, you know how to handle them. You're not going to freak out. If you think, oh, everything's just going to be flowers and daisies and it's going to be perfect all the way through, then obviously when bad things do happen, that's when you mentally kind of start to spiral and you don't be able to find solutions. But obviously Elsa found a solution, bridge loan, made it happen and made it work. So that was my takeaway. So I think that was really good.
Yeah, both are right. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Well, one thing I learned is that always have an extension in place, because that can rescue you. And I know I wouldn't be working with two lenders at the same time, but at least get a term sheet from 2 or 3 lenders.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. There you go.
A couple of backup options, knowing that if this doesn't work out, I'm going to jump right back to the one that had already reviewed our deal. So Perfect. Then that way it eliminates some time.
Perfect. Exactly. Perfect. Great answer. You said something else I wanted to expand on. I lost it. Go ahead, Mark.
I'll touch on something here. I know you've gone full-time into real estate now, whether someone is going to go full-time or they have a W-2, kids, whatever. What are some actions that you take on a weekly or maybe monthly basis that listeners
or daily
right now, or daily, you think they should do and get started with?
Yeah.
If they want to go full-time and quit the W-2 job,
could be full-time or maybe just starting out part-time. What are some actions you think that they should just start taking?
Yeah, good.
Well, I spent a lot of time on education before I jump on, into this program. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And when I joined the program, I watched all of Ross modules. I went through the whole library.
That's
read all the
painful.
documents.
That's
Well, there's just so much, sometimes don't think that, oh, I already know this stuff. And then you don't watch it, because there are a lot of nuggets in those. So that's kind of where I am. I learn. I want to make sure I know what I get myself into. And that's what I would recommend for other people. Don't just jump into doing it without knowing that what you're doing. At least work with somebody who has been there, done that.
Yeah.
Because that could save us a lot of headache.
And I want to expand on something, because also on the flip side, don't get just caught up in the learning and not take any action either.
Absolutely.
Okay. So there's two sides to that. Yes, you need to learn it before you jump, but you don't also belabor it, and don't be a perfectionist about the learning before you take action either. So there's a flip side. So let me ask you this, knowing what you know now about the business, and again, you've only been full bore for a year. I know you've had your license and done real estate longer than that, but really cranking for a year. Is there anything you do differently yet? Is there any aha moments there you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe if I could go back and start over, even just a year ago, well, I don't know. That's probably not enough time. And I'll go back 5 years. Would you have started earlier in this business? Would you have done anything differently? Let's go back to when you first got into real estate. Is there anything you would do differently knowing what you know now?
Oh my God, for sure, 100%. I probably would just skip all of my W-2 job ever since I learned about real estate and just dive right in. And of course, you don't know what you don't know, right? Yeah. But now, knowing what I know, I would just start out as limited partners. Just, if you have $20, $50, $100,000, put it into a deal, learn the business, and then think big. That's what I've learned. It's just, don't think that I don't have enough money to get into this business, because syndication is for everyone. Real estate investment is for everyone, as long as you're willing to. So that's what I would do differently. I would start early. I would start, participate as early as I can. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What do you think have been some of the biggest benefits you've gotten from our program? Just because, you have done so much in such a short amount of time. Talk about some of the benefits that you've gotten from being associated with us.
Oh my God, there's so much benefits. The biggest, 100%, I wouldn't be where I am today without this program. The biggest benefits for me is the network that I have, the people, the warriors. We have access to, I don't know how many people now, 600, 700, 800 people. Yeah. Everyone is so open and very warm that we just have that, like your personality brought you draw a certain type of people to your program. Yeah. And for that reason, these people are always open to network, to work with others, as long as they find a fit in it. So to me, that would be my biggest benefit, is to have access to all these people. Yeah. And whether we became friends or partners or sometimes some of them also could just work with us as a limited partner, and that's okay. We build a lifetime business partnership, as well as some friendship came out of this.
Yeah. Well, I noticed at the Warrior event, I thought it was you that organized this incredible group of women that were there. So we had a Warrior event. I don't know if you guys haven't heard, just for our students. We're about 250 students there, and we had a lot of fun, and we did deep dives on some analysis and things like that, and had warriors do presentations and attorneys do presentations. But I'm pretty sure I saw you put together a pretty big group of women. It looked like probably 20, 30 women, and you had a meal or something together. Is that right?
We had about probably 50 people at the
50. Wow.
And we're talking about a warrior woman retreat now.
I love it. But listen, you let me know, because I want to help with that for sure. By the way, guys, if you are interested in the Warrior program, to apply, you text the word crush to 72345, so we can help you crush it like Elsa is doing. Again, that's the word crush to 72345. And we check you out, you check us out. We don't take everybody, but it is a pretty extraordinary group, as I hope you're getting the memo on. So another thing I want, you talked about the incredible giving nature of our group. Tell me what your why is, Elsa. What's driving all of this? That's this incredible determination and fortitude and resolve and massive freaking action. What's the why driving all that?
As I mentioned earlier, I really came from a place of poverty, and I have a big heart, a big thing for the poor, for the for the children that in the orphanages in Vietnam. And I'm pretty active in supporting some of the work over there with my family. And that's my why, right? So as I was talking to my aunt last night, where she has this big piece of land that she wants to develop, and she wants to build not just affordable housing, but free housing for people that don't have. It's so cheap to build a house that's like $10,000. So somebody donated land, and she wants to expand that and build just free housing for people. And then, we also work with orphanages. So that's my why, because I know how it was like to be poor. I knew how it was like to have nothing and just like hopeless. And this is why my biggest why is I would be able to, my W-2 job has a cap.
Right.
But this job doesn't, right? There are things that the sky's the limit for those who are willing to work in this business. And that's my why. It's like, I want to be able to grow and be able to go back and just help as much as I can.
I absolutely love that. And guys, I don't know if you listen to these rock star episodes of My Warriors, but there is a common theme, and this is the common theme. Dinesh, the one we just interviewed, is doing similar thing in I know you know who that is, in India India. And guys, power moves to those who serve. That's just the way God of the universe works. And when you give back, it just multiplies, and as evidenced by this incredible dynamic woman we are interviewing today. So listen, Elsa, it has been a real treat to have you on the show and see you and just get to share in how exciting things are going for you. And I just can't wait to see where you're at in another year, 2 years, 3 years. It's just extraordinary to watch.
Let's have you back in 2 more years and see where you're at.
For sure.
Such a pleasure. Such an honor to be here.
Probably won't even wait that long. Elsa, thank you for coming on. It's been a real treat to see you, and I know we'll see you soon. I know we'll see you at the Denver event for sure. We're doing that, guys. We're doing a 3-day boot camp the end of July in Denver. Should be about 1,000 people, I'm anticipating, so it's going to be a fun one. Talk about networking. There will be networking there, but anyway, Elsa, thank you. It's great to see you.
Thank you so much, Rod. Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345, and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345.